Vanessa, get off my back. Vanessa, why you on my back?
So family, so sad that this is where the men that resisted oppression, this is where they were held. To them, they were slaves. They were property to them, where they don't have any right to ask questions. And men that were asking questions, fighting for their right, this is where nobody survived. They could have just used guns on them, but they don't want to waste their bullet. They want you to suffer, die, for somebody to come and see and learn a lesson from whatever you went through. This is the death cell, which means that no food, no water, no light, no ventilation. The first original door was here locked down. Later it was removed. The second door here locked, later removed, and that has only one original door left. It doesn't have an amount. It will be all of us here, more than us, one person. But no matter what, you won't come out alive, you will die. They will wait for the last person before they call those in the dungeons. Come here, carry the bodies one by one into the ocean. So not more than 72 hours. And all that we can say, may their souls rest in perfect peace. Hold on for me to on the light, open the door before you come out. All right, so please come out. Watch your head. Hold down, up, and down. Keep your head very low. Keep it very low. Some are so confident. And then we go down very well. Watch your head, please.
Thank you.
Watch your head. So wonderful family, we have come out alive. We are so fortunate. It is an opportunity that they did not enjoy. It was indeed the cell of no return, the room of no return, where nobody survived. This cell here, the inner one, was for enslaved Africans, where the first part here, the gawoon for their own soldiers that went out without permission. Because of the soldiers, you see this and that for light and ventilation. The second door here to separate them from the enslaved Africans. As I mentioned earlier, it was guns, gunpowder, spices, and other European commodities. So all these were storehouses, and the smallest one converted as the dead cell. 1619, 2019, 400 years of first enslaved ships that arrived in Virginia. So 2019, the year of return. And from African Genesis Institute, we are the children of those who refused to die. They all suffered. Some died, others survived the torture, the brutalities. So descendant, some of them, you see their names over here, which means that the names as you see here, it is not those who died at the death cell, but these are the descendants, those that survived over there. All right, so let us move on to the male dungeon. Let's continue from there.
Take photo. Take photo.
All right, please let's spend a few minutes here here to look at this before we step into the male dungeon. Now, way back 1992, the first an African historical theater festival, Panafest. This is a very emotional message from the National House of Chiefs and UNESCO. The plaque with in everlasting memory of the anguish of our ancestors. May those who died rest in peace. May those who return find their root. May humanity never again perpetrate such injustice against humanity. We the living, we vow to uphold this. So this is the message. This is to show their remorse, and this is on behalf of the ancestors, the middlemen. And as here, all races of the world, it is also a lesson that we should never ever repeat mistakes of yesteryears. The magazine as where they kept ammunition. So all the cannonballs as you see around were retrieved from this magazine. Official visit to our late President Mills and to Cape Coast Castle. Obamas were here, and the plaque was unveiled by President Barack Obama and First Lady Michelle Obama, 11th July 2009. So that is the plaque here. All right, let's step into the dungeon. Four steps. Right there, so please step down carefully and be mindful of the floor. Either the wall which are needed or side to side. Safely. Let's come down. So wonderful guests. We are entering the male dungeon. This is where they were held. From the slave market up the Palaver Hall. That is where they received the mark or the yard. And from there, they were separated into the dungeons. It was the Native Americans, also known as Red Indians. They were the ones working in their plantations. At the point that they were dying, they rely on the Africans. Africans to them, they were hardworking. They were strong, they were this and that. Said by Reverend Bartholomew de las Cascas. The same person suggested that let us use the Africans to work in those plantations. Because you are not going to get them in a day, this is why they have them for about 2 to 3 months before the ship arrived. Let us still go down. Still be mindful of the law. Watch your steps. Watch your steps. All right, so please, the book is coming out, so let's go to the side. Let's open up for it. All right, so please, you go down there. Still be mindful of the floor. And off the lights like this. As I did at the mill cell. Watch your steps for us to have a feel. No light in the dungeons. That is where normally you off the light for you to have a feel. The death cell where we came from, as the name implies, you suffer, you die. Where you don't have light, anything over there. But this was a waiting room. The light and ventilation through the small openings as you see there. 5 sections designed for 1,000 enslaved Africans. With 1,000, not all of them survived. Reason being that the same dungeon is served as where they defecated. This is where they urinated. Asinamansu village was where they had the last bath before they walked in chains to this place. Over here, the first dungeon on this side for those that were fighting for their right. They were fed twice a day. The floor as we are standing on It is not an original floor. It is a floor solidified, mixed with sweat, saliva, feces, vomit, and everything or whatever at the time they were here, whatever they left in the dungeons. That is what you see on the floor. Let's come in here, what is now the original floor. Let's see the Now, this floor was also like the rest. It is also covered with sweat, saliva, whatever I mentioned, and even more. But 1974, archaeologists from University of Ghana, they were students, they came here, they took a sample of the floor, just like that to Accra. They tested it, and they came back with the findings as I mentioned. This that you see there was for light and ventilation. It was also for rainwater, which means that any time it rains, rainwater comes through from this small opening down to wash everything from here into the ocean. As the training went on, when they were not receiving much rain, feces, saliva gradually accumulated to where we have these. So please let's turn and look at this. So these ones, as you turn around, you see them there. We call these excavation marks. This was marked the year, as I mentioned, 1974, as the level of all the accumulated waste. They were still inside, waiting for the ship. You don't have any place to go. But when the place was excavated, that is what we have there. So in here, there is no more waste, nothing on this, but the rest is still there. And ironically, we are under the church. Above the dungeon was the church. It wasn't a church for enslaved Africans in the dungeons. This was a church for the soldiers and governors. The name of the church was Society for the Propagation of the Gospel, XPG for short, and later it was renamed Anglican Church or Church of England. So as the properties, commodities were dying and crying, they will be up there reading their Bible, singing on top of the same place. No sympathy for you as a slave in the dungeons. Let us take a walk if there is no questions. We take a walk. Okay, so we'll take a walk in the male dungeon. Where there is a question, you don't hesitate. Feel free and ask your questions. So, ladies and gentlemen, watch your head, please. Watch your head. Watch your head. We're still taking a walk in the dark underground prison. So this is the male dungeon, the first dungeon, the second one. We all move to the third one. So, in front of the church, tight security here, cannons and cannonballs outside, and the people right in front of the church. In there, as slaves are crying, any unusual noise, as an officer over there, you will not see, but you hear because of the echo. If the noise is too much, you walk in to see what is going on. And that will be the time that some looking at them, they are difficult to be controlled, disturbing here and there. They will go to condemn self, die for somebody to come and see and learn a lesson from whatever you went through. First dungeon, second dungeon, let's come to the fourth one. Our ancestors, as they were coming to the coast, they were chained together. to prevent assault and escape on the way. In the dungeon, because still others were fighting for their right, original openings happened to be like this as you see there. Tells you that ventilation that he enjoyed was poor. And this is the opening where you cannot escape through that. The last dungeon, come over. Let's see the last dungeon. So we need to watch our steps. Let us watch our steps as we are entering the last dungeon. So Africans believe in supreme being, and the spirit, the deities, they serve as the mediator between you and the Almighty God. You acknowledge God when you are ready for an addition, which means that Africans were aware that there's God Almighty somewhere, just that don't go to church to worship. So looking at this is a deity, the God of the land, by name Nana Tabir. This was here for the Indians to come around to worship. At the point that British were developing the fort, they were not having the chance to come around. The leaders performed rituals.
Hey, how you doing? I need a favor. I need a favor. I know I'm sitting here hanging backwards like 50 Cent at the Super Bowl, but I need a favor. I'm not asking for money, donations, clicking the link, nothing like that. Do me one favor. Can you do that for me? It's free. I swear. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that subscribe button. You hit it. You hit it. Yeah, appreciate it. Good looking out. Appreciate it. Hey, I appreciate you.
In there, you will not see by here through this. So the people right in front of the church. It is now converted as children's library. A library for kids who live around this fishing community. Alright, let's have a space there, and then we explain those who are buried there. There's space here. There's a shade. Let's come to the side. Okay, let's be here. Let's be here for a while. Let's be here for a while. Bright sunny day. It is still morning, and the sun is not a baby sun at all. Alright, so the graves that we have there, the separate one, PQ. PQ, a Ghanaian. They were 3 boys that were baptized by British. They named them Thomas, Philip, and William. They were sent to England for training. The reason being that the church that was above the dungeon when they came, it was their own church. They were the ones attending the church, praying for their business and what have you. They got to a point they decided to spread the gospel to the people. There were challenges on their side. They were dying of malaria, yellow fever, and other tropical diseases. The language barrier was also a problem. So they could not go out to communicate or convince the people to Christianity, where they trained those boys. They went to England for training. As they were there, William and Thomas died. The last person that survived and came back was Philip. Philip was born on Wednesday. The name was Philip Kweku, but they couldn't pronounce the name Kweku, so they corrupted the name to kill as Kweku. So Philip Kweku there, the first African priest of the Anglican Church. He was ordained under the ordinance of Reverend Thomas Thompson. Philip was born in 1741. He worked here for 50 years and died 17th October 1816. Every 17th October, the schools and churches that are named after Philip Kweku, they celebrate the Kweku Day. The 3, as I mentioned, they are all European graves. The first one is Captain George McLean, a Scottish, born in 1801, the president of the British Committee of Legends. From there are so many thoughts about protect themselves and the interests of the British. Let's come closer and let's look at the second photo. There's a fort right there on the hill. All right, please, let's move, let's move, let's move. Come in and enjoy the breeze. This is what the governors and the soldiers, this is what they enjoy. Come in and also come and enjoy the breeze. This is what we have in the governor's bedroom. Original floor, the wood, and then the marbles. This is original floor. Offices here. The first capital till 1877. C.B. Whitehead was the leader of the soldiers. This was a barrack. Please do not put your weight on this. So this is a barracks, the garrison for British soldiers. They were here. Others were in the fort to protect and defend. When British left Cape Coast to Accra, Ghanaians converted this place as prison yard till 1993. It is now art market. The first watchtower is over there. This is Fort William, the lighthouse. Soldiers were there as well to send the same signals, light, flashlight, and reflection of the mirror. We call the area here Chapel Square, the Anglican Church, the Catholic Church, and the Wesleyan Methodist Church. That is it. And offices here. So let us enter this very office. So this was a residence for Captain George McLean. It was also the administration hall, and it was converted by Captain George McLean as the first of the justice before he died in 1847. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are at the administration hall and also the place. Yes, that was converted by the McLean as the first court of justice. Yes, we have that around, isn't it? They don't pay you rent. All right, let's go to the market. Calabria, let's continue from there.
You do these tours every day?
Yes, sir.
Wow.
It is every day and very emotional.
Wow.
But you need to control your emotions at that.
Yeah, yeah,
You
for
need to
sure.
control because we need to educate people.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Definitely.
Move to this side. You watch. If you want to take a picture, quick, then you move to this side. 18 feet underground passage. That is what we are looking at. They entered from the dungeon, the pitch chamber. So 1, 2, 3, continue, 4, 5, 6, 7. The last section. We do the record to confirm that those that survived there, are they all here? Or some are hiding in between the tunnel. So this is the tunnel where you join us. And it's a continuation of it. 18 feet. So after this one, we'll go back to the dungeons and the cell. That is the only place that it takes. Be careful that things. Let us make it snappy. There's no start because they entered from the dungeon. Here there's no way in, there's no way out. It was for a guy to be in front of it. Check. Watch your head, hold your phone very well. It is 18 feet. You get in front and then you stretch your neck. Are we through? Alright, so let's continue. The continuation of the tunnel, a continuation of that underground tunnel. So, ladies and gentlemen, this place also has been sealed, this side. But this was the exit of underground tunnel. They came out here still in chains. This is an initial exit and the door of no return over there. Let's come closer this way, look at the punishment cell. I must say that they did not see the condemned cell as punishment place enough. They went ahead to create condemned, to suppress people, put fear in them. And this is also a punishment cell for the mothers. You ask yourself what offense mothers committed that brought them into a cell. Some attempted to run away and they were re-arrested. Some were selected by the officers that they want to have an affair with them and they say, no, I'm not going to allow you. So in there, in their dungeon, they beat them mercilessly for others to see. And this is where they push them into the second punishment. There was a door here. Later, it was removed. It wasn't a death cell punishment. So food for them either once or twice a day through this hole. And for sweat, saliva, feces, there is a hole for it. Which means that everywhere at a time stinks. Sweat, saliva from the male dungeon, this is the hole for it. And this is also where they indicated where they will be. So you are free to come out. If you change your mind, you are out. If you don't change your mind, you continue to be there. But still, it was not a dead cell. Finally, let's come down. So this is a female slave dungeons. They were separated. In here, no reproduction. They don't have space. Over there, they want numbers. Husband, one family were captured. On this side, they were separated. Husband and wife, sister and brother, you will see themselves for the last over here. So men, they came out from their exit, and this is the female dungeon. From here to the final exit, door of no return. Let us step into the female dungeon. Let's come here. Let us look at their costumes.